Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Ship It and Sip It. I'm here with Mike Gagarin. How are you, Mike?
I'm cool.
Awesome. Mike is a front-end developer, front-end lead engineer.
Yeah.
How do you like to call
yourself?
yourself? Yeah. And you work mostly with React, and we'll get into all the details of that in a little bit.
I'm not saying that I work like with React, and I just prefer it. Yeah, because I implement all the things and on the backend side as well. Yeah, so it's like JS all the way. So you know.
All right.
Yeah. We have white wine, Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand. It's kind of cool.
And I was very happy that you chose this because this is one of my favorite wines. It's really the only white wine I consistently like.
Yeah.
I've found a few Chardonnays and other things that are drier that I like, but Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand always seems to hit the spot.
Yeah.
So, cheers. Lovely.
It's as you said, it's the wine that's constantly good, no matter what.
So tell us a little bit about your role as a front-end developer and why do you like it? What excites you about being a front-end developer on your team here?
Yeah, previously before my work as an engineer, I was a designer. So yeah, and I just like to visualize things, to photo and etc. Logical following of this my previous experience. Yeah, so I like to do it, and it's engineering. So it's also a brain work, and you just need to be concentrated to express things that you read about, some feature that you need, and you need to think about how to implement it better, to optimize performance, etc. Yeah, so that's cool.
That's interesting. So can you tell me a little bit about why you made the change from designer to engineer? Because a lot of people, work happily their whole career as a designer. And
yeah, maybe it would be more logical to just switch from graphical design to some kind of web design, but I just thought that I need to step further. To know how to implement better design in web, you need to know how it works under the hood. Yeah, so I just thought that it will be better after some time when I spent on learning how HTML, CSS, JavaScript work. I thought that I need to go even further and try to make things on the back end, etc. So it's very interesting things. And I think that all the designers that work with web and maybe even all the interfaces, they need to know how it works under the hood.
Right, and from the other perspective, do you think that you're a more capable engineer now because of your experience in design?
Yeah, because a lot of developers which are think for themselves that they're full stack engineers. Mostly it's back-end engineers that know how to work with HTML and CSS. When you know how to show things better to the user, how to work with them, how interfaces works, which things are mostly used for bringing attention to the component, you can better understand what do you need to do.
Talk a little bit about what you're working on right now, because it sounds like an interesting product. It's called PaperClip, right?
Yeah.
And it describes itself as sort of a no-code approach to accounting. at least on the website. That's sort of the feeling I got. I haven't seen the product yet because it's in a sort of a closed beta.
I know that, yeah.
But they've raised some nice investments. They're looking to grow their team here, and they've been really impressed with the work that your team, you and the team have done there. So tell us a little bit about the experience. How long have you been working on it, and what's the project like from the inside?
We actually have some kind of formulas in there, so it's not completely no code. You know, when you think about the exciting project, that your next exciting project, I think accounting is not
Pretty low.
It's pretty low. Yeah, but it become very interesting thing because it has a lot of exciting and hard things that you need to implement, that you need to understand and then implement, and it's like a very challenging thing. And it's cool because every day you have like a challenge which you need to somehow resolve. If you want challenges, so welcome.
And you can speak openly, I guess, about who we're looking for on the team.
And actually we need another QA engineer because Kirill, it's very hard for him. So we have now 5 engineers and 1 QA, and it's very hard for him to juggle with all these bugs.
Okay, so QAs, we got a cool project for you. Come and join us, come and apply. You'll get to work with Mike and the rest of the team. What's the team dynamic like there? The founders are in San Francisco. Tell us a little bit about, I don't know, the team dynamic, what it's like to work with them, and overall impressions.
Yeah, the guys are actually very nice, and every requirement has some researches on in the past. Right. Yeah, so it's very cool, and I think they know what they need, and it's a very cool thing about this project. Kent has a very lot of experience in accounting, and it's like the app that he always wants to use when he work with accounting.
Well, yeah, usually the best products are the ones that solve your own problems.
Yes, yes. So, yeah, and the team, I think, also sees all these things, and they just enjoy what they do, and it's also a very cool thing.
Well, you've been working in different, I guess, PaperClip would be considered a fintech product.
Yeah, kind of.
Since it's dealing with accounting and financial aspects for startups and other businesses, or just for startups? Mostly.
I think for now it's just small companies, but in the future it will be all of them.
All right. But before that, you were working on 2 other fintech projects, Intergiro and Bluebank. So you've basically been working on fintech for a while.
Yeah.
Years and years.
Years, yeah.
What are some specific challenges that you've noticed working on fintech projects? What's exciting? How are they different from, say, I don't know, any other kind of app? There's money involved. So.
Yeah, it's actually the thing that I want to mention. So the most challenging thing is that that every little mistake can lead to some money losses. Right. These money losses can be huge.
So you just have this impression that, like, I can't fuck this up.
Yes, because it's a bank.
Yeah.
Every time when there is money involved, and it should be very constant, quality of the product.
Right.
So yeah.
I find it interesting because, maybe this is a dynamic that you can see. Like, you guys have worked on some really cool fintech apps, and things that I would like to use, but the market here is very limited. And even in the United States, like the major apps from major banks, they're bad. They're just bad. And now with upstart banks and Revolut and all these cool products in Europe and the US, people have an option to sort of change the way that they interface with their money, the way that they invest, the way that they buy Bitcoin, whatever it is. And here it's like, So how does that feel for you when you don't get to use the quality of apps that you're working on?
There is a lot of time when I use Spotify,
right,
when it wasn't here officially.
Yeah.
And I need to find some people from the UK, for example, which can sell me one membership of their family in the Spotify. So, if you want to use some cool things, you find a way to use it.
I guess, I should just work harder on that. All right, we talked a little bit about how long you've been here. You've been here for almost 5 years. September will be your work anniversary, according to my records.
And mine as well.
Good. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
It seems like young engineers and young people in the IT sector tend to jump from project to project, company to company. Maybe they start out with a bigger service company and then they go to a startup runs out of money and they go back. People change jobs a lot, it seems, and change companies. What has sort of held your interest at Paralect, and why do you still love coming to work here?
I will be honest with you, because I think every person that working some time on the one company, they had thoughts in his head that maybe I need to change something. And it's not related only for some work. It's like the constant thing that after some period of time will
it's just life
appear in your head. But every time when I had this thought in my head, I just think a little bit and just to compare what what options I have. I don't know any good employer here in Belarus that is better than Paralect in things that I value the most.
Interesting. All right. Well, good to hear. for Paralect, what are some of those values that are so important for you?
Yeah, so it's like the atmosphere here is the first thing that every person, I think, would say in my place.
Right.
Yeah, because atmosphere is very cool. Even for one person, it is hard to be the same for some time.
Yeah, of course.
Because I can say that I was 5 years ago the same.
Right. Yeah, me neither. We all grow. Companies grow, but I'm glad to hear that Paralect still has that value set that's important to you, and it's also given you the chance to grow into your own capabilities, which I want to talk about a little bit. So you were 5 years ago part of the first class of Paralect Startup Summer, which is going on right now. The students are working together in 2 teams to build Nudge and Visa, our accelerator startups, which is a cool mesh of ideas, new teams, mentors, all of those things happening at once. Tell us a little bit about your experience with the first Startup Summer and how did that sort of impact your life? What are some bright memories?
It was a cool time. A lot of work and a lot of learnings, a lot of data that you need to calculate, and somehow you need to remember all the things. We have a lecture at the morning, then we have some work with these new things that we learned on this lecture, and after that we need to spend the time to implement some things in the application that we are working on. So it was like constantly changing this context that you're working with. A lot of cool guys that like a gods that were just
The prototypical
prototypical
awesome
engineers that are like superhumans, and you like look on them and think, oh my God, maybe someday I will be some kind of them.
Right.
It's cool thing.
Well, now you are one kind of them. What is your approach to mentoring young developers? You're involved with both mentoring within the projects you're working on, sort of cross mentoring outside of your own project, and also with the startup summer students. What do you try and give to those people? What do they need to know? And what's your approach to that?
Most like important things that I think that I need to build in minds of these students, post-students, and like junior developers. They need to think. Because when you just straight coder, that you just have a thing and you just code it without thinking how it should work, it's like bad thing, and I think it's the most important thing that like young developers, they need to understand it.
I was discussing with Igor, our CTO, some topics that I should ask you about, and he actually brought this up, that on the projects that you work on and you've been in a leadership role, you really take time to understand the feature, why it's needed, how it should work, and you have that back and forth with whether it's the stakeholders or the project manager, designer, you know, all those people are involved. It sounds like you really need to understand the why behind.
Yeah.
So where maybe did that come from your design background? Is that just a curiosity thing, or is that just your approach to work?
Yeah, maybe it has some background in my design experience or some kind of that, I don't know. But yeah, as you said, it's my approach, and I think that it's a very important thing.
I understand that from the front end side and from all of JavaScript, there's always new frameworks, languages, tools,
libraries, etc. Yeah.
Any word with .js after it, right? We've gone through pretty much the whole alphabet. So how do you sort of curate all of those options and say, okay, this one is good for our team, or this is the one I want to spend time to understand and implement on something that I'm doing?
You know, when some library or some, you know, tool, so if it like works better and you need to spend little time that on something that you are using right now, so I think it's a better option. One of the things that intimidate me to use it, it's React query library. It's a library for, you know, people in the React world, they're used to work with state using some kind of Redux, like a huge store which you have in your front-end side. Commonly, it's some clone of the data that you have on the back-end side. This React query do it in another way, and you don't need to spend a lot of time to some boilerplate code, etc. And it's very stable and it's very easy to work with. So I think it's a very cool tool, and one of the things that I very enjoy to work with.
Let's talk about your side project, I guess I would call it that.
Yeah,
Video series called
Bukhlonautica.
Bukhlonautica, which is a play on words between cosmonaut and
booze
and alcohol. Right.
Yes.
Bukhlonautica. Well, I can't really say it. Tell us what it is and why you are making these lovely videos.
Before these COVID times, I just like to go in places like to drink some cocktails, not to celebrate something, but to just party, I don't know, with friends or without friends, some kind of that. But after
Pandemic, I believe is the word.
pandemic is the right word. So I want to do the same things,
Right.
but I can't. I just start to investigating things how I can do on my home environment.
Right. And in this case, that is drink tasty cocktails.
Yes.
All right. See, I thought maybe that you, like, in a former life, you were a bartender or something.
No. I just
Because you seem like, you know what you're doing.
because I just spend time to investigate things. I just bought a lot of bottles and start to taste. There were a thought in my mind that maybe I need to share my experience that I had during these times.
They seem interesting. You've covered sort of most of the classic cocktails. So let's imagine that one of your founders, Kent, or anybody was coming to visit Minsk, say that they wanted to, say that it was a very friendly place to visit at the time. Where would you take them in the city to have a fine cocktail if they're the type of person that would appreciate it?
So we have bar that is called Embargo.
Mm-hmm.
If you are talking about cocktails, it's the right place. If we need to go for some impressions,
Mm-hmm.
I think it will be Zibitskaya.
Yeah.
And I very like Karma.
Karma.
Yeah, on Revolution Street.
Right. It's wild how much that area has changed. Let's imagine that you had a nice seed investment from a friend or a rich uncle or the Bitcoin that you bought 10 years ago. Would you start a startup or would you open a bar?
I think it will be a bar.
Yeah? And would it be in Minsk or some other city?
Now I think it's completely not the case to start a bar in Minsk, but maybe in future, yeah, why not?
All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck with that. I would love to come to your bar and have some of your cocktails. So your show, Bukhlonautica, has a new episode every Friday. And today is also Friday. So what's today's drink and what do you like about it?
It is cosmopolitan.
I don't actually know what's in a cosmopolitan. I know it's a really popular drink. But
Yeah, Carrie Bradshaw, all these pink colored drinks and Madonna, etc. So yeah, it's a modern classic. It has vodka in there, but at the time that it was invented, somehow, some kind of that, it was vodka citron that is with lemon, and also it is a cranberry juice, orange liqueur, and lime juice. So it's kind of tasty thing.
what is a good time to enjoy a cosmopolitan? Is it like to start the evening? Is it a good starter drink?
Yeah. It's a summer drink, but if you want to feel like it is summer, it's also good. So yeah, everyday drink.
Every day, any day, every day, you can enjoy a cosmopolitan. Well, Mike, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for
Go
inviting
check
me.
out Bukhlonautica and learn some more about drinks that Mike makes. And have a great weekend.
You too.